Did everybody have a good time? Reasonable. How about you? I did. I always have a good time. Hello. Hi, Jennifer.
You just posted right before we took off that you're not leaving because of a ceasefire. Why are you? Can you elaborate?
We're looking at better than ceasefire. We're not looking for a ceasefire. I didn't say I was looking for a ceasefire. That was Emmanuel. Nice guy. But he doesn't get it right too often. But we're not looking. We're looking for better than a ceasefire.
You're looking to get into this more. You're not going to involve the U.S. in this conflict at this stage. You're going to do anything more for Israel right now?
We're doing pretty well. Right now, we're doing pretty well. Remember, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. We don't have to go too deep into it. They just can't have a nuclear weapon.
What was the thinking on the call for Tehran to evacuate? Is there a threat or is there incoming? What was the thinking on the full evacuation?
I want people to be safe. And that's always possible. A thing like that could happen. I just want people to be safe.
Is there any new concern about U.S. troops or assets in the region at all today?
We have great people. They know how to protect themselves.
And when you say better, what specifically do you mean?
So hard if they do anything to our people. We'll come down so hard, then the gloves are off so beautifully. No, I think they know not to touch our troops.
Are you sending the vice?
But our troops are ready.
When you say
Do you
better,
want to send the vice president and Steve Witkoff? There's reports that you want to send the vice president and Steve Witkoff to meet with the Iranians and have discussions. Is that something you're considering?
Not sure yet. I may. Depends on what happens when I get back.
what specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
A real end, not a ceasefire. An end.
So something that will be permanent.
Yeah. Or giving up entirely. That's okay too.
Are you close there? Is that possible in the next 24, 48 hours?
It's certainly possible. A complete give up. That's possible, yeah.
Has the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the Secretary of Defense drawn up plans for you if Iran were to attack U.S. bases or do any damage to U.S. bases?
I just can't tell you.
Can I ask you, because there's been some skepticism, is there any guarantee that if the U.S. did get involved militarily, that a U.S. bomb could destroy Iran's nuclear program and facilities?
Everything or anything or life, you know that. Look at you, right? There's no guarantee. But you're saying a guarantee on what?
Do you think if the U.S. got involved militarily, it would actually wipe out Iran's nuclear program? Or where's your assessment of that?
I hope their program's going to be wiped out long before that. But they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
What hearing from BBs, do you have any reason to believe the Israelis are going to slow down, or are they going to hit the accelerator right now because they've got superiority?
Yeah, over the next 2 days, right? You're going to find out.
Has the Gang of Eight...
Nobody's slowed up so far.
Has the Gang of Eight been notified about what's coming in the next couple days?
We'll be talking to them. But
What can you do?
it's not necessary.
What can you do in Washington that you couldn't do in Canada?
Just be a little bit, I think, more well-versed. Not having to use telephones so much, because I don't believe in telephones. Because people like you listen to them, you know. So being on the scene is much better. And we did everything I had to do in the G7. We had a good G7. We signed the deal with the European Union, phase one of a deal. But we signed the deal with the UK. And the UK is really great. We're very far down the line with a lot of deals. I mean, look, we're actually finished with every deal if you really think about it, because all I have to do is say this is what you're going to pay. But it's nice to be nice.
Did Secretary Bessent stay behind as your representative? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, a couple of people.
Can I ask you, where...
Here we go. Who else has a question other than CNN?
Mr. President, you talked with the European Union. Can you tell us what the status is on talks on those you signed with the UK today?
I don't feel that they're offering a fair deal yet. You know, they've been very tough over the years. If you look at European Union, they formed in order to hurt the United States on trade. And we're either going to make a good deal or they'll just pay whatever we say they have to pay.
What about the Japanese? So you met briefly with Prime Minister
We had a great
Shiba?
conversation. I thought he was terrific, actually. You know, I was very friendly with Shinzo Abe, Prime Minister. He was a great man. But I think he's going to do a very good job.
You think you have a chance of a deal there?
Chance. They're tough. Japanese are tough. But ultimately, you have to understand, we're just going to send a letter and say, this is what you're going to pay, otherwise you don't have to do business with us. But there's a chance of a deal.
They want changes to the auto tariffs as well. Is that on the
See
table?
what happens. Anything else?
Yeah, it's a drone attack in Kyiv. What's your response to that? It looks like 14 or so, a Russian drone attack in Kyiv. Very recently. It seems 14 civilians, an apartment building.
Walking back to see sounds like it. I'll have to look at it.
Joint statement on the Middle East. What changed about that convinced you to sign on to it? The G7 joint statement.
Well, I haven't seen the statement yet, but I authorized them to say certain things. I don't know whether or not they said them correctly, but I think they probably did. We had a good meeting. I think that Canadian representatives were very good. He did a very good job.
How are the trade?
He did a very good
How was your meeting with him? How are the trade talks looking with the Canadians?
I think we had a lot of good talks with a lot of people.
You said he's looking for something more complex. Can you tell me what you mean by that?
They get too complex on the deals and they never get done. And we need speed. You know, we're dealing with really, if you think about it, probably 175 countries. And most of them are going to just be sent a letter saying, it'll be an honor to trade with you and here's what you're going to have to pay to do it. We're making a lot of money. You know, we took in $88 billion in tariffs. And I was called by Congress about 2 nights ago saying, we don't understand, the numbers are so far off. And I said, is that good or bad? He says, well, we're taking in so much more income than we thought. We've never seen anything like this. What is it? I said, check the tariff column. And it's about $88 billion that they've never seen before. And that's nothing compared to what it's going to be.
You've got other tariffs coming down the pipe here. What's the timing on those? Things like lumber, copper, pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah, we're going to be doing pharmaceuticals very soon. That's going to bring all the companies back into America.
All of them are focusing on research time.
Back in, at least partially back in. You know, they left us because we had presidents that didn't know what the hell they were doing. We should have never lost our car business. We lost 52% of our car business over the years. We should have never lost it. All they had to do is say, if you make a car, you're going to leave us, you're going to make a car, you're going to pay a 25-30% tariff, and they would have never left. Nobody said that to anybody until I came along.
Homeland Security is saying that ICE is going to start enforcing in hotels and farms again. Is that a change of course from last week?
We're going to look everywhere, but I think the biggest problem is the inner cities. We're looking everywhere. Look, what they let into this country, what Biden let in or allowed to, I don't think he knew what the hell he was doing, frankly, but whoever worked for him, what they let into this country, we're never going to forget it. They let prisoners in, they let gang members in, drug dealers in, the mentally insane into our country. No, we're going to get them out. There are far more in the inner cities, Democrat-run cities. Sadly, I mean, I'm just giving you a fact. There's far more in there than you have on a farm or someplace.
So no one's getting exemptions anymore. Everyone is
being looked at, but the bigger problem is the cities right now. That's where you are, and that tends to be where the really bad ones are. The murderers. You know, they've let in 11,888 murderers, people that killed people. Biden allowed that to happen. So the Democrats allowed it to happen. Biden didn't know he was even around. Yeah.
Question on your Senate confirmations. With all the military actions, there are only 3 of your 6 sub-cabinet members at the Defense Department.
I'd like to see the
undersecretary.
nominations go faster. The Democrats hold up our nominations.
Are you going to talk to Senator Thune about that?
John Thune's doing a very good job. You know, I've got a lot of people in, but he's doing a very good job. The Democrats, if we had George Washington up for approval, the Democrats would take maximum time, every hour, every minute, to delay him as long as possible. If we had a combination of Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, they would go max. It's called max time.
Mr. President, you've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon. But how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having one.
I got this one on. You were at this beautiful scene for the meeting, and you said a lot about acquiring Canada as a state. Did anybody talk to you about that, and where are you now?
Much better deal for Canada, but it's up to them. They're going to have to pay a lot of tariffs and things. They're going to have to pay a lot of money for the dome, for the Iron Dome. They want to be a part of it. We may make a separate deal on that, by the way. We discussed that, on the dome. That may be a separate deal. They want to be at $71 billion. They're going to pay.
There could be a dome thing separate from the tariff.
They'll be in the dome. Yeah, they'll be under the dome.
Are you open to negotiating with the Iranians right now, or do you want to wait?
I've been negotiating. I told them to do the deal. They should have done the deal. Their cities have been blown to pieces. They've lost a lot of people. They should have done the deal. I told them, do the deal. So I don't know. I'm not too much in a mood to negotiate now.
Do you think you'll be in the Situation Room tomorrow at any point?
Yeah. Tomorrow morning, girl, while you're sleeping. Goodbye, everybody.
Why do you have to evacuate Tehran? You know how you posted evacuate?
I think it's safer.
On
There's a lot of bad things happening there. No, I think it's safer for them to evacuate.
On Minnesota, there were a lot of horrific details that came out today about the suspect who's been charged there. Have you called the governor yet or been able to speak to any of them?
I don't really call him. He appointed this guy to a position. I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling him. Why would I call him? I could call him, say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
On the beautiful bill, sir, can you talk about what the Senate...
Doing well with the big...
I've been looking at the Senate. They proposed some change.
Beautiful bill, right?
Are you okay with their changes?
I hear so far it's going well.
Are you going to extend
Look, if it doesn't get approved, 68% tax increase, and I think the Democrats would have to, they'd be, because we won't get Democrat support. Think of it. We're giving the biggest tax cut in history. Instead, you have the biggest tax increase in history. 68%.
Are you going to extend the TikTok deadline again? It's coming up in June.
Probably have to get China approval. I think we'll get it.
Do you have the legal basis
I
to
think
do that?
President Xi will ultimately approve it.
And you have the legal basis to do that, to keep extending it?
Yeah, we do.
Two more on Iran. Is there any sign that North Korea is getting more involved in helping Iran, or is Russia getting more involved with military
I haven't seen
assistance?
it. No.
What
I don't
about-
think anybody wants to get involved. It's a mess.
What about American citizens, U.S. citizens who are trying to leave the area with the airport shut down, Ben Gurion shut
We're
down?
doing the best we can with it. We're working on that. We're doing the best we can. Thank you, everybody, very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. President.